So I'm getting a little bit of feedback.
Yeah, you're good now.
Okay, cool. Mets recap. I have a bad feeling. I was just thinking to myself that this team is very good, and something is going to have to derail it. That's just where I'm at. That's just where I'm at, and my fear, my concern is that there's going to be more scandals on the horizon. There's going to be more drama because I think we saw once the Jared Porter story broke, then the Mickey Callaway thing breaks, and it always gets traction and it always gets clicks. And I think that it makes people be like, all right, how can I get on this train? And I think that when you look at this lineup that's fucking stacked, and you look at this pitching staff that, anchored by DeGrom is always going to be good enough. And I'm just like, well, what could stop this train? And it's just more scandal shit. And I get worried that if more pops off, you can't have 3 scandals in an off season, fellas. You can't do it. And if more happens, and that's the ultimate fear for me, is I've been kind of quietly sitting back thinking, Steve Cohen is perfect. He's successful. He's dominant. He's got money. He's obsessive. He's a fan. He wants to win. The only thing that could stop him would be things that are completely out of his power, which would be, more bad shit from previous regimes. And so I hate to do it. I'm sure nobody's surprised, but I need a Mets Fans Anonymous sponsorship, Clem. I need you to either talk me off the ledge or commiserate with me or tell me why I'm wrong. But I just, as we approach the season, I said it a couple weeks ago, this would be devastating for me if this team was bad. The last time I would be this upset was the 2007 type of failure. So I'm waiting for that disappointment to occur.
Kevin, I'm not going to talk you off the ledge. I'm not going to push you off the ledge either. I swear. I am just going to say we're on a ledge. All right, let's just call it. We're on a fucking ledge right now. We've been on a ledge this whole offseason. It's been a fucking weird. The whole world is weird right now. This offseason has been weird. It was all fucking sunshine and roses when Uncle Stevie bought the team. Then we had a scandal with our creep GM. We had fucking GameStop of all things causing this whole divide and wedge between Barstool and the
right. It just feels like, we're dodging bullets, we're taking shrapnel, and one of these.
It feels like Final Destination. It's Final Destination.
Right.
And somehow Steve Cohen is overcoming everything, but weird things that are trying to bring the Mets down are now happening. It's supernatural.
Because the universe used to just be able to sit back and be like,
right.
The Wilpons will do it. The sports gods were just like, oh, the Mets will take care of the Mets being bad. And then all of a sudden the Mets had the right people to not be bad. And they're like, well, now we got to get creative. Now the universe has got to get creative. Let's start with some dick pics and let's start with some sexting. And who knows what's next? But all I know is if there's a next, then there's going to be a next. It's just going to keep happening. And then, then you're a true, you're the laughing stock of baseball. And then you're really fucked.
I mean, can we get some of the free agents? Some of them?
How funny is this? I bring up negativity and everyone's like, blah, 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 blah. Everyone's got their own input. Kyle, you go first. What'd you say?
What's next is that HR Holly's got to go, right? I mean, how do you carry over the whole HR department and all of this stuff comes out and they keep pushing it under the rug and moving stuff around and saying, oh, well, it wasn't corroborated. I was listening to the radio the other day and they said that they fired some dude for saying pussy behind closed doors with his friend in an off-color joke, and someone recorded it through the wall. And that person got fired. Meanwhile, they had these actual allegations and nothing happened.
Recorded it through a wall. Jesus.
Yeah, it was a wild story.
What's happening?
How do you even hear pussy through a wall? Pussy. How does that even sound? I don't get it. Kevin, this is what it is. Uncle Stevie bought our house. We've said it for a million times. We live in the neighborhood. Right across the street is the guy with the fucking 17 bedroom, 20 bathroom, more bathroom than bedrooms, which always pisses me off when someone rich fuck has that. And that's the Yankees, and we're the Mets. And hey, we're in the neighborhood, but our house always sucked. It's a fixer-upper. And there was a lot of shit left behind by those scumbag piece of shit owners that nobody in the fucking media called out except for a select few, right? Our guy Mark Carrig was calling them out and a couple other people on the way. But everyone else fucking held their fucking, they zipped their lips because they didn't want to lose their little scoops. And what we're learning is the guy who allegedly, like had a woman fired for having a baby out of wedlock, he was kind of a piece of shit and hired other pieces of shit. We'll just call it what it is. And now, like, all this shit is kind of the runoff from it. The one thing I will say, though, is that, like, the Jared Porter thing is like, well, that was not had anything to do with the Wilpons. But all the other shit here, it feels like it's like it was just a goddamn circus in Queens, which we always knew. It's just we didn't know, like, behind the scenes how, like, ugly it got, right? Like, this is shit's ugly. It's not like Mr. Met flipping the bird or Yo smoking butts while the team is, scouting out their World Series rotation and shit like that. It's a fucking circus, good and bad, like funny and not funny, I guess.
Oh, it's just like, why? Sell me on why, Bren, they're not, like, why should I not be worried?
I mean, about the non-baseball stuff, I don't know. I am hoping that Steve Cohen is sending out an email and is like, listen, come forward. Yeah. We gotta get ahead of some of this stuff because if all of you guys are scumbags, what are the chances? All right, how about this though?
Guess what? Everybody would come forward.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, this is maybe my try to talk you off the ledge. Laws of probability isn't it just the chance that the rest of the people aren't scumbags? Like, what are the chances that the entire organization, top to bottom, are terrible, terrible people?
100%.
Okay, all right. Not working.
Because it's not even like terrible people. Like, we've seen some terrible people. We've also seen some creepy people. We've seen some people who are like,
well, that's what I mean. Yeah.
I definitely don't. I'm not trying to minimize anything here. I'm just saying that every industry, everywhere there's men, there's going to be men hitting on girls, and anywhere there's men with women, there's going to be sex, and anywhere there's a hierarchy of power, there's going to be people abusing power. And anywhere that there's, fame, there's going to be egos. It's just all this shit. It's like sports is there's just going to be this on every franchise, on every level, in every department. And right now the Mets have the bullseye on their back because, they just needed the one story. And the one story started, and the second one comes, and the third one comes, and the fourth one comes. And because it's LOL Mets, this is it. This is the culmination. Like, the Wilpons are actually about to paint their final masterpiece, just no longer as the owners of the team, because the foundation has been set in place for the last 60 fucking years to be LOL Mets, so that we'll be the creep franchise. We'll be the asshole franchise where it's like, that's the Mets for you. When in reality, it's like, okay, it's Bobby Bonilla. We're seeing it again. We're seeing it again with Fernando Tatis's contract. When Fernando Tatis's contract expires, the Mets will have one more year of Bobby Bonilla. Yeah, and the Red Sox will be paying Manny Ramirez, and the Rockies will be paying Todd Helton, and the Nationals will be paying Bryce Harper, and the Brewers will be paying Christian Yelich. Everybody fucking defers money, but we are the assholes who bear the brunt of that joke. Well, everybody's probably got creeps. Everybody's probably got fucking sexual predators, but we're the ones being outed, and we're the ones who are going to be like the face of it. And who the fuck's ever going to want to come play or work for this franchise once we're known as, the Chris Hansen fucking franchise?
Chris Hansen, for God. I saw Bobby Bonilla trending this morning too. It said like #1 trends for you, Bobby Bonilla, and I almost just fucking ended it all, Kev, because I was like, not today, because I was like, there's nothing good that comes out of this trend. And at the end, it was just a Tatis contract, but I was like, there's nothing good when Bobby Bonilla is their #1 trend.
Going and you know what though, like, I made a promise. I know I'm down in the dumps right now, but I want everyone, if you're listening on the podcast, if you're in the clubhouse room right now, mark your calendars. July 1st this year, we're balling out. July 1st, Bobby Bonilla Day. Hopefully, as long as we haven't been like canceled as an entire company, franchise, entity for being like fucking rapists, we're going to have a party on July 1st, because hopefully by then we'll be like 10 games up in the division, and Bobby Bonilla's getting his money, and we're having a Bobby Bonilla Day. We'll do it at the park. We'll do it at the bar. We'll collab with the 7 Line.
We're getting T-shirts. We're getting T-shirts.
Yes,
we are. We are gonna make the best. You know what? I'm trying to think of like our most successful Met shirt. I think it was Mr. Met giving the finger. What about like Bobby Bonilla fucking flipping the bird, wearing like a black Mets uniform? Take all of the things that Mets fans love: the black uniform, the Bobby Bonilla contract, the this, the that, the middle finger. Put it together. We'll be wearing our Bobby Bonilla shirts, throwing our Bobby Bonilla party, because this is almost like when you take the power back, you know?
Mhm.
Everybody makes fun of us for Bobby Bonilla. Nope. We're going to own Bobby Bonilla. We're going to love Bobby Bonilla. We're going to get him on the goddamn show. What's Bobby Bonilla doing? Dude, we got to believe, asshole. I don't care. We can have 5 fucking listeners. Come on the show, Bobby. And we're going to have ourselves a July 1st, folks. We're like, forget about 4th of July. 1st of July is the party.
Let me see if we have a game that day. God, I hope we have a home game. Obviously, we should have.
I didn't talk to my guy about it, but if we could do a Barstool at the ballpark on Bobby Bonilla Day.
Oh, fuck.
Watch out. No?
We're in Atlanta. So something bad's gonna happen that night. It's followed by the Subway Series in Yankee Stadium.
No.
This is not good. Good.
I was gonna say, like, if it's like that one random weekend where we're in Chicago for the Cubs or something like that, I was like, fuck it, let's do an away game. We'll do 7-line style. We'll take it on the road. But I'm not going to Atlanta. Fuck that. no one's trying to go to Atlanta, man.
Because it's always the last game in Atlanta, and then it lines up for the Yankee series, and it's going to be like, well, we're going to be throwing whoever the third minor league pitcher we have right now, and our system is going to be starting game 1 in the Bronx, as they just put up 18 runs the night before against the Tigers or something. I've seen this movie a million times. No, fuck it, Uncle Stevie, flush it all down the toilet. This is a fixer-upper. We just have to fix it up. Yep, these are the things, this is the stuff that, when you got the house, he got rid of all, the shit. He got rid of the Brody Van Wagenen was, the shitty toilet that was just sitting downstairs. But this is the stuff that's in the walls. This is the black mold. This is the stuff that's been going on for years. No one knew about it, or no one said anything, and it just kept growing. This is where the infrastructure comes in. We need to gut this motherfucker, and we need to build it up from the bottom up. I don't know if it's foundation, infrastructure, but we're fucking gutting this thing. It's what was that dude? I love them. The Joanna and Chip Gaines or something like that. I love those motherfuckers. They're coming in. It's gonna look like a new goddamn house. At that point, they spend more. You could just buy a new mansion. Instead, they just gut this little 3-bedroom house and they make it look like it. But that's what we're gonna do. Uncle Stevie is going to take that money and we're gutting this motherfucker, Chip and Joanne style.
I mean, we've been saying it forever. We want nothing more than to gut the whole goddamn thing. I just don't think we realize the extent of what gutting meant. We got to get rid of everybody because, that's what also bothers me about this is I understand, Jared Porter, I believe they waited until Jared Porter was GM to release that article. I know, I was afraid to say that a couple weeks ago. I think enough time has passed. I think that was we want to get the GM. We don't want to get the scout. Mickey Callaway is an ex-manager who is a pitching coach for someone else now, but somehow it's a problem for us. The next guy is going to be, somebody in the fucking mailroom, and the next guy is going to be somebody who works.
Mr. Met. It's going to be a Mr. Met. It's that kind of shit, right? It's going to be it's going to honestly be something that's a figurehead, someone like that. It's just going to be weird shit. We're used to this by now, right? It's magic.
It's moving down the rungs because they just had their hitting coordinator now is out. They quietly fired him last year.
Yeah.
And
crazy.
They asked Rojas in the press conference, they're like, "Oh, did you know him?" He's like, "Yeah, he's been in the organization for 20 years. I was in the minors with him." They're like, "Oh, did you know that he was doing that stuff when you hired him?" He's like, "Chili Davis is old. He's the whole reason he wasn't in the dugout is because we had to pull this guy up from the minors." No, I didn't know that. What do you expect him to say? Yeah,
yes, I knew the whole time. I mean, what the fuck, man?
Bad.
But okay. There's my negative pitch. I just need to get that off my chest.
I want August, KFC, Brennan and Kyle to have listened to us just now and be like, what the fuck happened, guys? We were so happy in August. And they're like, it's still the same in February right now. It's yeah, man, shit got crazy. You guys missed a lot of stuff. The guys in August don't know what's going on. The guys last February. Imagine explaining to last February or even last December when Uncle Steve was buying the team the first time. It's you guys, there was probably such life in our eyes, a little twinkle. It's nope, this shit ain't ended anytime soon. This thing is a fixer motherfucking upper. That's what this franchise is.
Now, I think we've been doing a lot of fixing. I know that there's some contingent of Mets fans who are so mad. Actually, I think it's more contingent of Mets haters that are you didn't get Real Muto, you didn't get Bauer, you didn't get Springer. This is a failure. And I think anyone who's level-headed, A, knows that they weren't going to do it all in 1 year, and B, even in 1 year, they went and got themselves like a Hall of Fame shortstop. They got McCann I think McCann at his price is better than Real Muto at, what did he sign? I don't know, where did he end up?
Yeah, Philly.
Back with the Phillies,
Philly, right?
120, 110?
Yeah, already messed up his thumb. He's out 2 weeks. Day one.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely insane. I think that'll be a bad contract. Spring will be a bad contract. I think that the other moves they've made have all been solid. I think we could have probably we should have probably went ahead and bid more for Paxton. I think there's like a couple misses, but a couple big like hits, and more importantly, like the team is kind of set in a lot of ways. We'll talk about Lugo in a minute because I think that is a fucking problem. But then all the talk of like we're not yet done, and then specifically linked up with the rumors from Craig Carden and Evan about Chapman from Oakland. Let me tell you this much: if the Mets somehow go and get that done, then I think we go right back to the top of like best fucking offseason, maybe this team has like ever had, this franchise has ever had. That's a dude who, if you the A's are a weird team, West Coast team here, East Coast bias. That guy is a fucking monster, a monster. I was talking to Rico Bosco about him, and I don't know if this was actually posed by anybody or if this was just kind of a Twitter hypothetical or, his crazy father. We know Mr. Bosco is always talking craziness, but he was saying Dom Smith for Chapman straight up. And Rico was like, I will fucking drive him to the airport myself. I will pack his bags for him, But I'm on board with almost, anybody that you throw out there for a guy like him. He fucking mashes.
And he's the best glove in baseball. That's
the other thing we forget is, and it's like that's something we know we desperately need. Now, that all started. Carton said that he heard there was just talks, that there was like, they had contacted each other about it. A, has that progressed anymore? And B, fuck Andy Martino, which is always the B to every statement. B, fuck Andy Martino, who tried to like call Carton out and say, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Meanwhile, he ended up echoing the exact same statement saying, oh yeah, I'm sure there actually was a phone call made. Like, fuck you, Andy Martino, you fucking loser. Like, what? How does that guy? What does he actually do? He just works for SNY?
Yeah, he basically does what we do, but we're not reporters. He waits for the real reporters to break the news, and then he's like, oh yeah, I'm hearing this. And it's like, yeah, no shit. We all see the same thing you just saw.
So he does what we do, but without like the humor or the personality or the following or the jokes. He's just a baseball Twitter guy.
Yeah, he's a repeater. That's what he is.
It's like
an echo. He's an echo. He's
no better. He's like everyone on Mets Twitter, but with being an asshole. It's like why don't we give like Meek Phil his fucking job? Like what why don't
I'm down for that?
Yeah. If all he does is
campaign.
Meek Phil for fucking Martino, and Martino has a job on what, like doing like loudmouths or some shit. I'm starting to realize I don't even know. I've never even seen Andy Martino. Who the fuck is Andy Martino? I hate him.
He sits on the screen and he's got like these creepy Beatles puppets behind him, and then he just says how the Mets shouldn't extend Lindor. Like that was his big thing of the week, and everyone's like, "You're an idiot." He's like, "Well, his numbers are slipping. He's 27 years old, and he's the 15th best player according to MLB Network."
I mean,
even Cerrone went at him too. Cerrone was like,
"Yeah, that's how you know he's an asshole." Matt's like one of the most, diplomatic, nice guys out there, and he's like, "Fuck this guy." Yeah, you know what? Why do you guys want to sell shirts that just say "Fuck Andy Martino"?
Yes.
I always go back and forth. I don't know. Like, I don't think I would wear a shirt that says "fuck" on it, but I think I might wear a shirt that says "Fuck Andy Martino."
I think that those would sell through the roof.
I think so too. I mean, I usually am like I remember when people wanted us to sell Fire Ray Ramirez shirts, and I was like, yeah, fuck Ray Ramirez, but I'm not trying to like campaign against like an individual guy. I think I'll sell Fuck Andy Martino shirts. I'm not above that. I'm not above that. I'm like right there. That's like right in my wheelhouse. That's right who I am as a person.
And
Fuck Andy Martino.
It's like the whole like negative thing. And it's like, I think a lot of Mets fans have done this. Brandy had a great tweet the other day, just like, hey, Mets fans, what are your, grades of the offseason? And it was more positive than I expected, but it's like, we got Lindor, we got James McCann, we got Carrasco. And like every other day, there's like 2 Mets on the MLB Network's top 100 list. Like it's our entire team. Again, the house is a fixer-upper. There are some fucking like golden doors and fucking like an indoor heated swimming pool. It is? Like there's some fucking great pieces in this house.
It's a fixer-upper, but like we have a master bedroom. We have like a fucking dope like flat screen TV with the leather couches. We have like your man cave. We have a nice kitchen. We just need like we need like a room for the kids. We need like a nursery for the baby and a room with the bunk beds for the kids. But the house is fucking there. We got the foundation set. We got like
it floods a lot too.
Yeah, it does flood. There's a little bit of my old house. There's a little bit of that going on. Yeah,
it was funny to see. Like Mets Twitter was at least responding to that tweet kind of positive, but it was all like B plus, and then occasionally there was a few like F, D. They didn't get Bauer. Like I guess it was some people just felt that it was Bauer or bust. Apparently, I guess that's some people on Mets Twitter still think that we had to land all of the best free agents. It's a little weird. I mean, I thought it's strange that we talk about this other deal with the A's possibly happening. It's just weird that it might be trades that Steve Cohen makes his biggest impact with, rather than just spending money, but which I like because it means he's
Sandy
smarter.
Alderson-esque. You know what I mean?
He's savvy.
That's the money ball. I mean, and you're talking about Oakland, and you're talking about guys that like Sandy probably had his eye on at one point.
But you do want to use your best asset, right? Like just spend a little bit of money. Like now I'm thinking as we continue to miss out on some of these guys, I am like, no.
Here's the thing. I think I don't have a problem with not spending on Springer. I think George Springer will be a Robinson Cano contract, like no doubt about it. And I think that Bauer was like, he was never going to go here. He was never going to sign here. Right. And so like, I don't think there has not yet been someone that the Mets needed, wanted, and bid on to the maximum and got outbid by. I think they were like, you can have them. So I think the moment that there really is, like Lindor is not going to not get extended. They're going to spend the money on that. And that's what I
like because we can wait. He can have a monster year because we have Steve Cohen. Like it's fine.
Well,
if he has an amazing year, we can still pay him.
Also, wouldn't you have liked to just get this shit done before Tatis comes along with fucking 340? Which, by the by, where was it?
He's 5 years younger than Francisco Lindor, too. That's fucking crazy.
He hasn't played a full year worth of games. He's played 143 games.
Wow.
He's played. He will get, and this is what's crazy about baseball and then taxes. He's gonna walk away with 169 million total, which
he's gonna get traded by year 3 of that contract, though. So he'll go to like Texas or something.
Get out of there
and get his money.
But based on, I also don't quite get how that works because don't you get taxed based on where your games are played and shit like that? I always thought that like the game checks actually depend on what stadium you're in.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But playing the majority of them in California, I think.
Right. And I'm not saying that, and maybe these people who calculated it all took that into account. But, 169 million over 14 years, he's going to make like $12 million a year.
Yeah, but that's take home, right? We're talking about take homes because you can't compare that to everybody else's pre-tax money.
It's
Nobody said that. But I know.
But it just got me contract.
Right. It just got me thinking about like how much money you actually do make. Like when you talk about European soccer players, they always talk about their take home money. So when you hear about like Ronaldo making $40 million a year, I think he's making $40 million a year.
Right.
And so, I think, and forget about pre-tax money. Somebody, I think, who was it? Somebody tweeted like, make your kids play baseball, folks. Like that's the sport to play. And I think it was Meek Phil maybe tweeted that he would be like LaMarcus Aldridge makes the same amount of money as Fernando Tatis. So like no. Make your kid pick up basketball. Make your kid like work on his lefty layups because that's the fucking sport to play, folks. But still a monster number for a kid who is like 15 years old and barely played a game.
I'm very much in the play baseball camp though, because if you're just like can throw lefty, like you can just be like you just get that money. Where like LaMarcus Aldridge, you have to be 6'10" and cut like a motherfucker.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
I think it if you were to be, if you could pick your your kid's going to be a superstar at the sport, I think basketball is the choice right now. If you're talking about like you want your kid, your kid's going to be good and maybe could make it somewhere, teach him how to throw a breaking ball with his left hand, and like he'll, LaTroy Hawkins, he'll pitch for fucking 38 seasons. It's incredible.
That's like
it's the greatest
Jeff Samardzija. Jeff Samardzija would have been like a first round receiver, and he went and played baseball. And Calvin Johnson was obviously he's going to be a Hall of Famer. Samardzija's made so much more money than him.
So much more.
Close.
I know. I mean,
not an ounce of CTE.
Right. I mean, it's. I think Kyler Murray is an example where it's like going and being like a franchise quarterback is pretty fucking dope. But I think otherwise, to me, it would go basketball, baseball. Well, again, for the peak levels, I think it would go basketball, baseball, football, and then hockey is like you might as well go be like an accountant. You make the same amount of money. It's crazy.
You need a side job.
I feel like Big Cat probably makes more money than hockey players. Like crazy.
But this is the thing, though, about getting the guys too. I think we're going to be fine because I saw this tweet too. Danny Vietti tweeted it. Francisco Lindor, Carlos Carrasco, Nolan Arenado, Blake Snell, Yu Darvish, and Josh Bell were all traded this offseason. One top 100 prospect, Luis Patino to Tampa Bay, was used to acquire these players. Wow. So it's like you don't have to give out prospects. You just have to be willing to pay them the money, either like down the road, which we'll be doing with Lindor, or like up front, like with Arenado, right? And then as well down the road. And it's like, of course, we did it completely backwards with the Robinson Cano trade, which we're not going to talk about anymore. No, that name should not be mentioned. There's going to be more guys out there because baseball's not going to all of a sudden like figure out their finances in like the next month or so. I'd rather like whatever the available players are, it's going to expand the next like couple months in terms of when teams start sucking, if teams like take a hit financially and all this shit, because it's not going to like the world's going to change back to normal tomorrow. I think we're gonna like just like Chris Bryant and like a few other guys. I think there's gonna like the guys on the market are gonna lend themselves to us, and then we could be like, all right, there's a center fielder out there, let's go get this guy, instead of just trying to like plug a guy into like an area of perceived weakness. We can find a fucking guy that is like a stud that we need, and we'll pay down the road. So, and we don't have to give him a lot for him either.
Yeah, I mean, who's coming up like in the coming seasons that because a lot of these guys did move. You're right. I mean, those are some monster guys that maybe would have hit the market or would have been available, but now have been traded and probably locked up. Who's coming up that if Stevie did want to just drop dick on the table? Is there big classes coming up?
Zach Greinke.
Well, it's a lot of shortstops, unfortunately, which is what we just got.
But I'm fine. I mean, in my mind, I know I'm a Lindor dick rider. I know we're in the middle of like a golden age of shortstops, but I think he's the one for me. I absolutely love the guy. I can't wait to watch him play. But I do think that like there's been rumblings of a cap and a floor and finances are changing. So like, okay, this year wasn't the year. I want 1 year of Steve Cohen unbridled, go ham. I know he said we're not.
I want the Steinbrenner. Buy a World Series.
I know I don't want to spend like a drunken sailor. I want a shit-faced fucking sailor one season, and maybe some of them go wrong. Like, I don't care. I want 1 year of that. Let's see what happens,
Yeah, we need that year that the Yankees got Sabathia, Teixeira, and who else? They got one other guy, right?
AJ Burnett,
and they got them one. That's enough. That's all I need. You didn't build a dynasty. Just purchase one World Series, Steve Cohen, please.
You know who, by the way, must be sitting at home right now being like, what the fuck just happened? And I hope that Jacob deGrom maybe picked up the phone and called him. Ronald Acuna with that contract. Oh, Jake and him must like commiserate together and be like, hey man, remember that time we like totally undervalued ourselves? Like, what the fuck? He signed, what was it? 100 over 8.
They've got him and Ozzy Albies together for 19 years combined, and they're together making less than Fernando Tatis. Which also screws us.
I know.
Had to be us.
Yep. I mean that. So if Tatis walks away, what was it, 340 over 14, something like that?
Yep.
Is that Anna and Elsa on that pillow?
Yep. Shout out Frozen. There it is. I mean, Tatis is obviously a lot Lindor is obviously a lot older, but he's gonna have to get like 10, 300 or something. I don't know. Like what? I don't even know how that computes with like less years, but probably more money because he's more of a proven pro. I don't know. It's like Tatis is probably making. It's a very interesting contract because he's not as proven as Lindor is or a lot of other guys are. But he's proven in like common sense, like this guy's gonna be the fucking real deal. But he doesn't.
But if he is that, if he's like an iconic player in the year, like 2029, and he's only going to be making like $25 million a year.
Yeah, it's actually not crazy. I mean, it's just such a long one. It's kind of Bryce Harper-esque where the years are crazy. I also feel that Tatis is awesome. But I think you're paying a little bit of a premium on like his swagger and shit. Like his presence is, and I think that's important. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I think San Diego is almost paying for like we're putting the Padres on the map a little bit because we've got like that dude. But Mike Trout, the Mike Trouts of the world who are like quietly playing baseball. I think you could almost get him. It is kind of like Acuna. It's like he's not as well known and as cool and as face of baseball-esque. I wonder how much of that goes into that contract versus because it almost is all of that because like I said, there's no proven numbers other than 143 games worth. So I think you're paying a lot of money for the mystique of Fernando Tatis almost.
And I like the fact that Lindor sounds like he doesn't have the crazy swagger, but I mean everything you heard about him from Indians fans too, right? Like that guy is just like a ray of sunshine, which is what we fucking need on this franchise. Like we talked about. Hair.
He's got a little bit of wacky
and the smile.
Get
that smile out there.
Mr. Smiles is legit. I mean, right now his hair is like a silver blue color. So, he's not exactly like boring. Okay, I think Cleveland is fucking Cleveland, and I think that when Lindor is in New York, I think you'll have some Tatis-esque mystique surrounding him as long as he performs. I think he's going to be an even bigger superstar. I think people are going to realize that Lindor is the fucking truth when he does it here in New York, as long as we don't get canceled for being a franchise full of like predators. Why don't we just rename ourselves the New York Predators?
Predators.
The Nashville Predators or the New York Predators. Great. Awesome. Sounds good.
Well, at least we're building, and that's the thing with we got Lindor up the middle, we got McNeil playing his fucking real position for once, and then center field. This fucking DH situation, I cannot believe. And
how do they not have like an answer? By the way, where people are like maybe not. I'm like, we're playing baseball in like a week. What the fuck is the
pitchers
answer?
and catchers have reported. They're reporting
the pitchers and catchers have reported, and we don't know the rules. Yeah, our pitcher's gonna bat or not. I gotta find out if I have to practice this. But this is insanity.
If you're a pitcher going through bunting drills, it's like the night before school where it's supposed to snow, and you're like, do I do my homework? Do I not do my homework? Like, you have to put that mindset in. Jake needs to know if he has to rake or not.
Well said. It's so true. It's like, God, what is the holdup? Baseball is so fucking dumb. How does this kind of shit is always happening with Major League Baseball? Like, Manfred, you fucking moron. And by the way, it is so inevitable. So just do it. Like if it's not this year, it's next year, and if it's not next year,
and do it for us.
I know.
do it for our specific situation.
I cannot believe how much I have flipped on this. Like I used to be like fuck the DH, and now I'm like
when you have two first basemen,
Don Smith and Pete Alonso and JD Davis and let's fucking get that DH rolling, baby.
Rojas literally was like, I only have two players in mind that are going to play their positions completely, and it's Alonso and Lindor. Everybody else can move all over the place, and I'm like, we built a team, and I guess McCann, but we built a team full of people that don't know how to play their position. JD Davis, not a third baseman, not a left fielder, not a third baseman.
Oh yeah, God. I mean it's tough. Despite all that,
if Dom opted out for the season, we would be like, fuck the DH. But Purge is like, it's a thing. Like, we could change on a fucking dime right now. Yep. My stance in the DH.
Yep. On top, despite all this, though, every fucking all this confusion and all this uncertainty or whatever, all these projections are like the Mets are gonna fucking roll in the NL East, which is like the last thing Mets fans want to see. 81% chance to win the East according to Fangraphs. Dakota had them winning 95 games and winning by 10 games.
When I see those graphs, it's always like, the percentage chance of winning a game for a team that blows a huge lead. It's like, yeah, we're going to have an 85% chance of winning the entire time, and then it's going to fall because we're just not going to do it.
Our entire, every game that we win is takes years off our lives, let alone the games we lose, right? So I don't want to. Fangraphs was on our nuts all year last year, too. But I will say this. So I was I see these things, the projections and shit. And then I'm like, let me go look at because I think the Braves are obviously the team that are our clear rivals here. And then the Phillies, they brought everyone back. And then the Nats are the Nats. They won the World Series a couple of years ago. You look at the pitching here, if you figure everyone stays healthy across the board for all teams, yeah, we are the best fucking team. We have the best pitcher in the division. We have the best rotation in the division, I'd say, if everyone's healthy. The Nats, I guess, but the Nats don't have the offense with it. So I'm drinking the Kool-Aid right now, boys. I am in fucking 81.2% land. I'm in 95 win land. If you guys want to join with me,
95 win land, holy
moly. 95 is so many.
That's like a Darren projection.
Yeah,
you know what? But
Darren's in the clubhouse, I think.
Darren's in the clubhouse
in here.
You know what?
Darren, we're fucking
how far? Yeah, we're you want to bring him in now? It's a little bit short on the podcast side of things. Let me check. Fuck it, right? Let's bring Darren in. Can you bring him in actually? Because I'm not a moderator here.
Yep. Darren's guys, I don't want to go. I
don't want to fucking talk to you, negative assholes.
We're trying to literally pull him in. He's like, nah, no thanks.
You're not answering?
Yeah. Darren is giving you the middle finger.
Darren just opted out.
The invitation is there if you'd like to come join us, Darren. But I
95 is a lot.
The thing is, there he is. What up, D?
What's going on, guys? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. If Pacoda and Fangraphs and everybody is predicting 95 wins, that must mean that Darren in the 7 line is predicting 108, right?
I would say 104.
104, yeah. It's casual 104. Sure, why not? I love it. But I was just about to say, though, as much as I am drinking the Kool-Aid as well, and as much as I do look around thinking well, this team should be good. The Puerto Rican Lugo that's not great. That is not great. I did not need to have that. I did not need to have bullpen problems to start the season, and that has me very shook. Also, the retirement of Mad Dog Hughes. There goes our guy. As always, even when things start to go good for us, as always, the Mets bullpen will forever be our Achilles heel. And are keep you up at night. So, what are you thinking on this team in general, Darren?
Oh man, you know what's funny? I've actually never used Clubhouse in my life. I'm driving through the snow right now, and I was saying to myself, I don't know if I'm going to go to spring training in 2 weeks. Now I'm like, fuck it, I'm going.
Take me down to Port St. Lucie. Yeah, let's go.
I don't know the team. Obviously, you know what's crazy? The conversations that we've been having over the past couple months now, to be in on pretty much everyone is such a feeling that none of us probably ever have in our lives. The bullpen obviously could have used some bolstering besides the guys like Jet and Trevor May and stuff like that. But obviously the hit with Diaz, not Diaz, the hit with Lugo is going to be huge. The most consistent guy that we had out of the pen. We'll see what happens. I'm really hoping that we get the bounce back from Diaz. Last year he was pretty solid, but granted.
Well, I'm almost ready to I am going into the season thinking we have good Diaz. If we have bad Diaz and now Lugo's out, we're fucked. That's we are. I don't care how good the offense is. I don't care what DeGrom does. We know how that goes. If you have a bad bullpen, you're fucked. And
we're only winning 101 games if that happens.
Hey, what was my prediction a couple of years ago when I was on with you guys?
93 was the big one, and that was a couple of years ago where we did not win 93, but
86 I think we won that year.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It wasn't that terrible, but it wasn't 93.
Of our group, our group text whenever the Mets got somewhat hot, it'd be like, "You guys back in yet, or what?"
Yeah.
And then it was like every time we blow a save, I'd be like, "See, you idiot! Why are you getting your hopes up?"
That's a toxic chain right there.
It
It's just
really
people.
is.
It's just optimism and pessimism. There's nothing in the middle there. It's just fucking anger and joy, which is, I mean, Mets fans, right? The fucking perfectly
Yin
bound.
and the yang. We are the big time yin and the yang. The 7 line and we gotta believe are like we're like what's your quote about Thanos all the time, Clem? Perfectly balanced as all things
Perfectly
should be.
balanced. That's
Like
all they
Mets
should be.
fans, you go to a 7 line outing and you get your hopes up, and then you come over, listen to We Gotta Believe to like come back down to earth, and you land somewhere in the middle where we all should be, because God, we know that this thing is a roller coaster that never ever stops. But I mean,
over with our crews though crossover so much that when things finally do get back to whatever normal is going to be, we have to plan something together. I know we talk about it all the time, but like fans are more eager than ever to go do something. And if we can kind of get on the same page, but I know you don't want to travel, you don't want to leave your fucking house, but do something big. Like, let's go big.
Well, why don't we try to do something? It doesn't even have to be at a game though. But I don't know if you were listening before for Bobby Bonilla Day, July 1st. Everybody likes to make fun of us. We're gonna take back the power, and we're gonna enjoy ourselves on July 1st. Even if we just did some, I don't know, get together at a bar, get together at some outing somewhere. What day is that?
I think it's a Thursday. It's in Atlanta. We're at Atlanta. Then it's right before the Yankees series in Yankee Stadium. So it's a Thursday night.
So I don't know though. Can't you get can we do something at Citi Field on an away game? Karen, is it possible to
the lot that we tailgate in is just like a New York City lot,
right? So let's rent that out for Thursday night, and I don't know if we can get like one of those projector screens, put the game up in the lot. Yeah.
Well, and we got the truck too. So the truck.
I was gonna say
internet thing. So we're all set.
You got the 5G truck rolls up. We got one of those like inflatable movie screen projectors. We watch the game. We and Darren is like, he's made of money after his 7 line deal, so he'll give out $1 million. Everybody gets a little chunk of change, $1 million, Bobby Bonilla style. How's that sound, Darren?
Wait till you see the next product they got coming out, man. Like, it's not going to be $1 million idea, but it's big. I'll show you guys when we get off this thing.
Well, I mean, yeah. Listen, if it's anything like the home run beanies and everything you've come out with over the years, you must be doing something with the black uniforms, right? I mean, that's all I fucking hear about is the goddamn black uniforms every day.
I don't know. We'll see. I mean, you know what it is? Like, we have to commit to such high numbers for like cut and sew custom jerseys, but I don't know. I'll bring them back if enough people want me to, but the prices have gone up. I mean, if you look at like Fanatics, for instance, the price of jerseys have gone up. So even just to reissue my old black jerseys, that I mean, like the pullover V-neck, more now than it was like 2 years ago. So I don't know if the market wants it, then we'll do it. But it's a big nut to drop to just like kind of take a gamble on.
Right.
T-shirts, like a cut and sew jersey is expensive.
No, sure. That makes sense.
Darren, we're gonna have to sneak in with you. Like, there's a chance though. Like, we gotta believe, like, we're gonna be banned from Citi Field, so we're gonna have to sneak in with the 7 line to like get into the stadium. Because
I texted Kev right immediately when Nate put up that blog and the tweet went out, and I was like, "Oh shit, is this gonna be bad for you guys?" And I'm on the hope it's not, but I think that Uncle Stevie probably knows that a lot of people work for your company now, and like you can't be responsible for every asshole that wants to put some on Twitter.
I am hoping, but at the same time, I also would not blame him if he was just like, "Yeah, man, I get it. Like, you work for here, you're cool. He's not. I don't care. Fuck Barstool." Because
I'm Bobby Axelrod. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Nate tried to apologize. Well, I don't not apologize. Nate sent an email to me and Clem being like, "Hey, just wanted to like clear the air." And he said like some nice shit, but then he was like, "I totally stand by that blog." I was like, "Okay, well then go fuck yourself. Never mind." It's like that all goes out the window. What were you gonna say though?
Did you guys end up getting one of those hats? Like he was Steve Cohen was sending out the hats to like random fans. Did you guys get one of those?
Oh no, I don't think we're on any of those lists, Darren. I don't think we're getting any gifts from Uncle Steve. What exactly is it?
It was a couple months ago. There's a company called Hood, I think. They made these hats that said Shea Bridge on it, and I don't know how they figured it out, but they mailed them out to certain fans. I just wasn't sure. I don't want to rub it in. I got one.
Is it? I actually have a Hood hat. that like it writes like your neighborhood on like the stitch on the front. Right. So I have one for City Island that those guys they made just for me in Feidelberg like separately. But man, a Mets one would be absolutely dope. No, we did not get that.
I got a fish in like a fucking piece of fish in the mail. Luca Brasi sleeps with the fishes kind of shit. I thought I was like, well, Uncle Stevie, some fresh fish. So I think he's just trying to tell me something.
Our only hope, Darren, is that I don't think Uncle Stevie knows that he even does business with us. I don't even like to say he does business with us. Like, I get in contact with a couple ticket reps. They give us some tickets. It's not like I have some deal with Steve Cohen, but I think he kind of went under the radar, got like grandfathered in,
I hope so. I mean, I think that you guys, obviously you're very opinionated, and it's nothing that you say is hurting the team in any way. I mean, you just say what you feel, and that's just the story, the way of the game for you guys. But yeah, I've been dealing with the Mets obviously for a long time now. This is going to be my 13th season doing the 7 line. So, a lot of people come in and out of the building as far as like employees are concerned, and who knows? I'm sure it's under the radar.
Are you? Has business changed with the ownership regime change or no?
No, I mean, not really. I mean, everything's kind of, people kind of, on, with your brother on his podcast, is he in here too?
Yeah, he's like,
yeah.
These podcasts, we were talking about, like, everyone thinks that my deal is with the Mets. It's not with the Mets. My deal's with MLB. I have an MLB, so it's like the MLB actually owns the marks of every Major League Baseball team. Like, they're in charge of the logos, yada, yada. So when I do apparel, it goes through the league. I pay a royalty every month to the league. It's not to the Mets. So, I'm sure when Stevie came on board and then the Cohens became involved and I started talking with, the family, yada, yada, I kind of just came with the package, I feel. Like the 7 line was part of the Mets, and now they own the Mets, and now I'm under them. I don't know. I don't know how to...
Shut the fuck up, Darren. Uncle Stevie loves you. All right, we're the black sheep of the family now, and he's always liked you since day one. He was doing shit with
you guys know what I mean. It's just like with the Mets.
No. Did you have any like interactions with like? I mean, we all hated the Wilpons. I feel like you were always in a tough spot where maybe your deal wasn't with them, but still you're working with the Mets and they're the owners. I mean, you had to be happy to see them go like everybody else did, right?
Yeah, I mean, I had a couple interactions with the Wilpon family. Fred was actually super nice. Like, I don't think this is, something that he wouldn't want me to talk about, but we met a couple times, and at one instance he brought up, it was actually busy. It was the SNY, like, launch party at their new location in the Trade Center. And he saw I was there. I got invited by I don't know who, but I'm there. And he's like, hey, I want to talk to you about something. I got this idea for a scholarship, like a scholarship thing that we could start with the 7 Line Army, something for kids and get something for colleges. Like, he was always kind of thinking outside the box in ways that he can give back to not only our group, but just whatever, just like ideas,
Right.
But as far as, the Wilpons are concerned, we talked about this also on BC's podcast. It's like, I honestly never thought I'd see the day where they were going to go.
Never.
So I just came to terms that it was like, this is what it is,
Mm-hmm.
So as far as the Cohens are concerned, like when they were going through the motions of purchasing the team and it wasn't finalized yet, I did have a couple interactions with, his people, and they got some of the Home Run Apple inflatables for the properties and stuff. So we got a little, I haven't spoken to him directly, but kind of got a little relationship going so far. So that's nice.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's a good start considering it's just, year one. I feel like there's a lot more to come with you guys. And I do think despite the little setback with Twitter and the Nates of the world, the fact that he was so interactive right away with fans, like I'd have to imagine he's eventually going to make an appearance or at least co-sign the 7 line or, do some sort of, stuff with the fans where I think that's a big part of this for him. I think he was so in the shadows with his business and finance. And then when he bought the Mets, he wanted to be like a part of the action with the fans. I think he quickly learned to walk in both worlds. But I think he'll do something that's a little more, the Wilpons we never heard from, and probably rightfully so, because they were like, I don't know what the fuck we're doing here. I don't know how to, like, I don't want to give a statement because I don't know what I'm talking about. But I feel like if things start to go well and they actually win, I think Steve will be a big part of the mix, and I'd have to imagine he would start first and foremost with you guys.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't even be surprised if Steve Cohen is listening on Clubhouse right now.
Secret burner.
You don't go from being that involved to just like giving it up cold turkey.
Right.
No way. It's definitely, he's on Twitter still. There's no way he went from being so invested and so involved with that back and forth chatter that, you know, we've been doing on the internet for over a decade. You don't go from being that involved to just out in a day.
And I have no problem with that. Like, if he wants to be, he could even be on Twitter as Steve Cohen, but be one of those like corporate accounts almost, where it's like you tweet about charities and you tweet about like what's going on with the news with the team, but you just can't do the like back and forth as if you're, you know, one of us dopes. Like, you're not. You're a billionaire. You are the face. You know, you own the team. You just have to be a cut above. So if he wanted to be on it, whether it's like through a secret account or just a more removed account, you know, more power to him. It's just there's too much that can go wrong that, you know, you can't be an everyday user. I am fully paranoid, Darren, that we have not seen the last of more Mets scandals. I feel like we got like a bullseye on our back right now after the first two Jared Porter and Mickey Callaway things break. I think it's the only thing that can kind of slow this team down is like those type of scandals or bad news where it's like outside, you know, it's out of Steve Cohen's hands. It's out of the players' hands. Otherwise, though, I feel like this team is as good as they've been since I don't even want to say 2015 because I feel like 2015 they kind of came out of nowhere and it was so unexpected. But back in, you know, 06, 07, 08, even though only 1 year we made it to the playoffs there, I feel like that was the last time I had this much confidence in the team.
I love to hear it. I love how pumped you guys up. How pumped you guys are on this team right now.
Mm-hmm.
Once this game starts, there's no setbacks, no hiccups. They get in 162 games. I mean, health is the name of the game. Are these guys going to stay healthy all year? Probably not, but let's not jump off a cliff, right? You know, when stuff does go down, like this Lugo thing, let's not let it be a setback, and hopefully things are still looking bright, you know, come April 8th, I think is opening day at Citi Field.
I'd rather him, honestly, like, you're right. If you're going to have to get injured, just get it, like, do it now and come back rather than do it in, like, the middle of a run. As long as, I mean, the Mets tend to start hot, so you don't dig yourself too deep of a hole without him. And when he comes back, things are still cooking. Maybe it's, you know, if you're going to have to get injured, maybe now's the time to do it. Are you guys back in action, full swing? Is Corona still like slowing you guys down at all? Or if there's going to be games, you guys are going to be at full strength?
Yeah, I fucking hope so, man. Last year was tough because you know how much we do that's involved around going to games and the outings. You know, I had 2,000 tickets for the Dodgers game in LA last August. Obviously, they got canceled, but the teams were super cool. Everyone that I normally work with at the Mets and all the road game teams were great with like giving me my money back and deposits and XYZ. But you know, if we're allowed at games, we will absolutely be there. I got 10 planned for Citi Field in May. We're supposed to be in Tampa. We're going back to Boston in September. So I'm working with all the teams already. I got a call with the Dodgers, I think tomorrow, to go over, you know, what we could do if we can get back out there. But it really just comes down to our fans going to be comfortable traveling. And that's really it. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I'm kind of just have to roll as business as usual until I'm told not to.
Right.
And we'll see what happens.
Did you personally, like, you know, was it like rough for you and your family? I mean, that's like, was that a bad year, or did you kind of have enough like saved up and enough in reserves, make enough in merchandising? Or was this like, I mean, I would be scared shitless if I mean, how much of your money comes from the outings versus merchandising and everything else?
I wouldn't say it's half, but it's a good chunk. But if you think of, you know, the best thing I ever did was not have a big staff. Like, I do so much on my plate. Like, I do all the social media. I do, you know, you guys know I do a lot. So I only have one other full-time employee besides myself on this operation. So the good thing in that aspect was I didn't have to shell out payroll. I didn't have to lay anybody off. I didn't have any of that stuff. So, you know, I got enough saved where last year was okay, but I definitely can't keep it moving forever like that. You know, we got to get back to the ballpark eventually. Right.
Well, I mean, listen, we'll all, I'm sure Mets fans will all be ready to go out there with you. And if you're looking for good merchandise and whatnot, Darren's the guy to buy it from. So keep the line we'll see you for 104 wins this year, right, bud?
Maybe 105, we'll see, but at least 104.
All right, sounds good, bro. Let's take a couple more calls from the rest of the audience here. Let's see. Let me scroll and see if there's any familiar faces. Anybody
Throw the hands
wanna,
up too. Everyone throw the hands up.
if you want to talk, raise your hand, because I don't want to throw anyone on the spot who doesn't want to get involved.
Like he just did to Darren, which was pretty incredible. He just threw him on, forced onto a podcast. Welcome to Club.
If you want more of Darren, by the way, super producer on iTunes and Spotify. You can go listen to that interview.
I'm sure you guys got into it. Lord knows there's a lot of business and shit to talk about there. I mean, no hands are raised, so the crowd is shy. I understand. I get it. We're coming up on an hour anyway, too. So we'll save our call to the bullpen for next week.
Two things. One, Kevin Pillar. Do we have any opinion on that? I was fine with it. Mets Twitter now, it's like they complain about everything, and all the fucking letters with the sabermetrics. I made up a stat just so people would like feel good. I was like, his SIMURN. I was like, that's called stat I made up right now, motherfuckers. I was like, if he's a corner outfielder that can occasionally play center, the fact that DH is not like fucking ironclad in or out right now, the Mets have to like be like the Wilpons would have made a decision one way or the other and gotten fucked once they made the announcement. The Mets are kind of just trying to like play it cool. They have these two guys with Almora too. Like Kyle, I didn't even realize this batted .342 against lefties last year, and he was MVP of the Giants in 2019. So, and like, let's be honest, we all think of him in like 2016 making crazy fucking diving catches. I'm fine with that. His name rhymes with Pilar. We have them both. We throw them into games. Like that's fine. Like that's all I need. I like a guy just because of that. So that and then Tebow retiring was a big thing last night too.
I mean, the dream is dead. I thought that Tim Tebow was one day going to be, the power of Christ compels this team to win a World Series. We can officially put that to bed. I'm happy that we don't have to. I mean, every time I saw a story about him, like getting called up or playing here or making an appearance there or whatever, it was always like there was really no reason to get bent out of shape, but there would always be some article, rightfully so, being like, this dude is taking the place of a real minor leaguer, or like the Mets are doing this, because the Wilpons want like ticket sales in the minor league, all these things that were stupid but true. And I'm just happy we can close the fucking books on that and be done with that whole dog and pony show.
Did they invite him? Didn't they invite him to camp? Was it just to retire, or did he get there and take a couple cuts and was like, oh, I can't not do this?
Right. He probably hasn't done like any baseball activities during Corona or anything. He's like, oh, wait a minute, I fucking suck. So we're limping to the fucking start here. I feel like it's to me, it's either like what happens first, another scandal or a baseball game, one or the other. Let's find out. I just need baseball back in my life. It's bad when you're looking forward to Mets baseball games, because that's what usually causes me the most stress. So let's keep it moving. So pitchers and catchers are already reported, or they're about to, or what?
Yeah,
they're there. So I mean, we made it to the spring training, or at least pitchers and catchers are there. That means Jacob deGrom is beginning his campaign for another Cy Young. And
James McCann's a fucking leader. He's fucking, everyone loves him. When he was, I'll tell you, you fucking haven't seen baseball in a long time is when you get amazed how quick a catcher goes from catching the ball to like throwing him out at second. I saw Kyle tweeted out that clip. And a little fun fact for you I saw the other day, because you guys were talking about Randy Johnson and that kid hit the fucking seagull out of the air on the foul ball.
Yeah.
I search James McCann in Barstool just to see if there's any blogs about him from the past. Or no, I searched hit a bird. James McCann hit a bird back in like 2014 when he was a rookie. Big Cat blog. I was like, holy shit, this one went completely under my radar. So he has a fucking body on his fucking. It was on a line drive too.
Maybe it's just not as rare as we think. Maybe people are killing birds left and fucking right in baseball. Who knows?
I'm a bird guy too. You guys know I'm a bird guy, but I like having a guy that has a body on his fucking head. That means he doesn't give a fuck. He's whatever it takes to win.
Clem, did you see the yellow penguin I tweeted?
Yellow penguin?
Yeah, I know. You probably discriminate against flightless birds because you're a fucking asshole.
No, we love birds all the time, Kevin.
But this is a female penguin who makes herself yellow to attract males. I was like, oh, I bet you're getting all sorts of penguin dick.
We've reached the penguin dick portion of the podcast.
Off the rails.
Time to wrap up. 59 minutes, 36 seconds, but we're right at an hour. Time to wrap up, so I stopped talking about penguin dicks. We'll see you guys next week. Pray for no scandals. Pray for no injuries. Pray for a Chapman trade. And,
Pray for no more fucking snow.
And pray for Mets baseball. Gotta believe.
Gotta believe.